the same cycle of life, because we don't understand our anatomy, nor do we have the urge teaching the anatomy. We wasn't teaching you ABCs and building blocks and all that shit. We actually taught children how their heart, their consciousness was. We taught them how their anatomy was. We understood that, and we look at our children as being unintelligent beings because they're 3, 4, 5 years old. But again, that's something that was given to by the European man, or the Asian man, or the Arab man. When the children are born with over 100 billion neurons, they did a study and it showed that by time from a child from an infant to an adult has less neurons inside of the brain, meaning active neurons inside of the brain, as opposed to when it was a child, which means we actually went backwards. So if you go to a hospital right now, or if you go to any hospital, or if you go to churches, or if you go to any religious building, you're not going to find doctors. You're not going to find doctors. Anybody that deals with the body, you're not going to find them inside you're not going to find them inside of churches. You're going to find majority of us inside of churches. You're not going to find, because a historian book will always contradict itself when it comes to anatomy, but anatomy will never contradict itself. So this is why I say we will always continue to fall. We will always go backwards. We will always go round and round in a circle until we really seriously, as individuals, say, you know what? I'm going to learn how my brain is operating. I'm going to learn how my spinal cord is operating. I'm going to learn how all my nerves in my body is functioning with every part. And until we learn that, or want to have the feeling to learn that, we will always continue to be servants. 90% of our people go to church. 90% of our people go to religious buildings all day long. But you don't see not one, like I said, you ain't gonna see no surgery. You ain't gonna see no doctor, no surgeon. You ain't gonna see nobody that deals with anatomy inside of these buildings with churches and stuff. You're not going to do that, because they understand that history is all made up. Yep. Even when you go in front of it, or you go in front of a nurse and you say, well, my chest is hurting, the first thing that they want to ask you about, they say, well, did your mom have chest pains? Did her grandmother have chest pains? And then if you say no, then he's done with those questions. Or you say, yeah, maybe my mom did, but he's not going all the way back 400 years. There's no need to go back there, because your anatomy is current. All of that stuff is current. It deals with past, present, and future. It's not just based off of one thing. So we want to base our growth and our development off of historic facts, and we should be basing our growth and development off of how much of our anatomy that we can actually comprehend and understand, and also pass down to our children. Because if we can pass that down to our children, that's one less battle that we would have to fight. Because now our children wouldn't be easily misled and say that it's racism by loving yourself, because now we can tell them why you should be loving yourself, and they should understand that we are electromagnetic frequencies, that and our blood is royal, and that we absorb radiation on a higher level than any other. We not even just radiation, we absorb frequencies on a higher level than any other species on this planet. So therefore, we should be conscientious to guard and protect our energy on all levels, no matter what it may be.
And they really do come for the kids. Like you were talking about human papillomavirus the other day, and I put the question in your box, right?
Right.
And I wanted to elaborate, but obviously I'm here to learn, so I'm gonna take my seat, you know. But they came to us in middle school. I was in grade 7, and they had us in the assembly twice a month to tell us what the repercussions were if we did not get the 2 vaccines. I have never been scared at school, okay? I would go home and reiterate what these people were telling me to my mom and let them know, yo, mom, they said if I want to have kids in the future, I have to get it because it's going to protect my uterus. They never even told us too tough what a uterus was. They never told us too tough about any of our reproductive systems. But they let us know if we did not get, and there was 2 vaccines. There was an A and there was a B. They would give it to us 3 months apart. Okay, you had to get your parents to sign off on it before they would give it to you. But they made sure to sit us down twice a month and tell us about it. We didn't know nothing about nothing. Last year, my auntie talked to my mom, and she's like, her daughter is now probably like 6 or 7. It's coming back again. So now they want to give these little young females the HPV shot. And she's like, I feel like a bad mom because I'm telling her, yo, bun what the teacher Jama say. If I'm sending you to school, go to school to learn. You come home, I deal with you and your body and whatever else. Don't make these people make you feel like you're being left out of something because other people are getting it. And everything comes back in a full cycle, in a full circle. And if you're not preparing yourself, these people will attack you from the inside out at the place where you're supposed to be safe. It's not fair, bro.
Right. And that goes to my point where, as though, like I say to my brothers and sisters, that we really think there's going to be a battle between us and other species. No, it's not. Our younger generation, I don't want to just say younger generation, everyone is waking up to the literally were played, and we were used to literally destroy each other. We were literally used to destroy each other. My grandmother took me to go get my shots before I went to school. Am I supposed to be thankful to my grandmother? No. That meant that my grandmother was a slave. She was complacent. She did what they told her to do. Not saying, hold up, let me do I can research this myself. Let me think about this. None of that. She just went and did what she was told to do. So we have to answer for that. And no one else, no other species. That's why I say a lot of white folks, to be honest with you, they have a clear path to if you look at, let me say this, if you look at any messages, certain what you would call another community down here to this planet, it always came to them, because no one can blame us. We can't blame no other race for our own self-destruction. It's laziness. We got complacent, we got lazy.
And our own people reiterate the stuff that we're running from. Our own people. Just like you said your grandmother was a slave, my grandmother came to me a couple months ago and she's like, why didn't you get vaccinated? I'm like, Grandma, you really think these people even been to the moon? They haven't been to the bottom of the ocean.
He said the moon. It's true.
No, and it was the only way I could conceptualize it to her in her 86 years. That's the only way. I said, Grandma, do you really think these people been to the moon? Do you even think that they've been to the bottom of the ocean? How are you gonna tell me that I should get something if they don't even know about what has been here as long as they've been here? Longer than they've been here. They don't know. And now you're telling me to do something and you don't even know what you're doing. I would really respect it if you just respected my choice and you never have this conversation with me again. Because I love you to the tip of my toe, to the top of my head. But like I can't rate this conversation, and I don't want to disrespect you, Grandma. But I don't like it. And I would rather not.